Tehillim, Psalms 119. Praiseworthy are those whose way is perfect, who walk with the Torah of Hashem. Praiseworthy are those who guard his testimonies, they seek him wholeheartedly. They have also done no iniquity, for they have walked in his ways. You have issued your precepts to be kept diligently. My prayers, may my ways be firmly guided to keep your statutes. Then I will not be ashamed when I gaze at your commandments. I will give thanks to you with a proud heart when I study your righteous ordinances. I will keep your statutes, O do not forsake me utterly. How can a youngster purify his path? By observing your word. With all my heart I sought you. Do not let me stray from your commandments. In my heart I have stored your word, so that I would not sin against you. Blessed are you, Hashem. Teach me your statutes. With my lips I recounted all the ordinances of your mouth. I rejoice over the way of your testimonies as much as in all riches. Of your precepts I speak, and I look at your paths. I occupy myself with your statutes. I will not forget your word. Bestow upon your servant that I should live, that I may keep your word. Unveil my eyes, that I may perceive wonders from your Torah. I am a sojourner in the world. Hide not your commandments from me. My soul is shattered with yearning for your ordinances always. You rebuke the accursed, willful sinners who stray from your commandments. Remove from upon me disgrace and contempt, for I have guarded your testimonies. Though princes sat and spoke against me, your servant discusses your statutes. Indeed, your testimonies are my preoccupation. They are my counselors. My soul has clung to the dust. Revive me in accordance with your word. I have recounted my ways, and you answered me. Teach me your statutes. Let me understand the way of your precepts, that I may discuss your wonders. My soul drifts away from sorrow. Sustain me in accordance with your word. Remove from me the way of falsehood, and graciously endue me with your Torah. I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I have placed your ordinances before me. I have clung to your testimonies, O Hashem. Put me not to shame. I will run in the way of your commandments, for you will broaden my heart. Teach me, O Hashem, the way of your statutes, and I will cherish it to the utmost. Grant me understanding so that I may cherish your Torah and keep it with my whole heart. Lead me to the path of your commandments, for that is my desire. Incline my heart toward your testimonies, and not to greed. Avert my eyes from seeing futility. Through your ways preserve me. Fulfill your word to your servant regarding fear of you. Remove my disgrace, which I dreaded, for your ordinances are good. Behold, I yearn for your precepts. Preserve me through your righteousness. May your kindness come to me, O Hashem, your salvation according to your word. I shall offer a response to those who scorn me, for I have trusted in your word. Do not remove from my mouth the word of utmost truth, because I have yearned for your ordinances. I will safeguard your Torah constantly forever and ever, and I will walk in broad pathways, for I have sought your precepts. I will speak of your testimonies before kings, and I will not be ashamed. I will be preoccupied with your commandments that I love, and I will lift my hands to your commandments which I love, and I will discuss your statutes. Remember the assurance to your servant, by which you give me hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, for your word preserved me. While false sinners taunted me exceedingly, but I did not swerve from your Torah. I remembered your judgment of old, O Hashem, and I was comforted. Trembling seized me because of the wicked who forsake your Torah. Your statutes were music to me in my dwelling place. In the night I remembered your name, O Hashem, and I kept your Torah. All this came to me because I guarded your precepts. My portion is Hashem. I have pledged to keep your word. I pleaded before you with all my heart. Favor me according to your promise. I considered my ways and returned my feet to your testimonies. I hastened at it, and I did not delay to keep your commandments. Bands of wicked men plundered me, but I did not forget your Torah. At midnight I arise to thank you for your righteous ordinances. I am a friend to all who fear you, and to those who keep your precepts. Your kindness, Hashem, fills the earth. Teach me your statutes. You have done good to your servant, O Hashem, according to your word. Teach me good reasoning and knowledge, for I have been faithful to your commandments. Before I was afflicted, I erred, but now I keep your word. You are good and beneficent. Teach me your statutes. Willful sinners have piled false accusation upon me, but I guard your precepts with all my heart. Their heart grew thick as fat, but as for me, your Torah is my preoccupation. It is good for me that I was afflicted, so that I might learn your statutes. The Torah of your mouth is better for me than thousands of gold and silver. Your hands made me and prepared me. Grant me understanding so that I may learn your commandments. Those who revere you shall see me, and they will rejoice because I hoped in your word. I know, Hashem, that your judgment is righteous, and that you afflicted me in faithfulness. May your kindness comfort me according to your word to your servant. May your mercies come upon me so that I may live, for your Torah is my preoccupation. May the willful sinners be shamed, for they have maligned me with lies, but I will discuss your precepts. May they return to me, those who fear you and who know your testimonies. May my heart be perfect in your statutes, so that I be not shamed. My soul pines for your salvation. For your word I hope. My eyes pine for your promise, saying, when will you comfort me? Though I have been like a wineskin dried in smoke, I did not forget your statutes. How many are your servants' days? When will you execute judgment upon my pursuers? Willful sinners dug pits for me, which is not in accordance with your Torah. All your commandments are faithful. They pursue me with lies. Help me. They had almost destroyed me on earth, but I did not forsake your precepts. In accordance with your kindness, preserve me, and I will keep the testimony of your mouth. Forever, Hashem, your word stands firm in the heavens. Your faithfulness is from generation to generation. You established the earth, and it endures. To fulfill your decree, they stand until this day. For all are your servants. Had your Torah not been my preoccupation, then I would have perished in my affliction. I will never forget your precepts, for through them you have preserved me. I am yours. Save me, for I have sought your precepts. The wicked hope to destroy me, but I contemplate your testimonies. To every goal I have seen an end, but your commandments is exceedingly broad. Oh, how I love your Torah. All day long it is my conversation. Each of your commandments makes me wiser than my enemies, for it is ever with me. From all my teachers I grew wise, for your testimonies are a conversation for me. From wise elders I gain understanding, because I have guarded your precepts. For every evil path I restrained my feet, so that I might keep your word. From your ordinances I did not turn aside, for you have taught me. How sweet to my palate is your word, more than honey to my mouth. From your precepts I acquire understanding, therefore I hate every path of falsehood. Your word is a lamp for my feet and a light for my path. I have sworn, and I will fulfill to keep your righteous ordinances. I am exceedingly afflicted, O Hashem. Preserve me in accordance with your word. Please accept with favor the offering of my mouth, O Hashem, and teach me your ordinances. My life is constantly in my hand, but I did not forget your Torah. The wicked laid a snare for me, but I did not stray from your precepts. I have taken your testimonies as my eternal heritage, for they are the joy of my heart. I have inclined in my heart to perform your statutes forever to the utmost. I hate the plotters of evil, but I love your Torah. You are my concealment and my shield. I put hope in your word. Depart from me, you evildoers, and I will guard the commandments of my God. Support me according to your promise, that I may live. Disgrace me not in my hope. Sustain me, that I may be safe, and I will always be engrossed in your statutes. You trampled all who stray from your statutes, for their deceit is false. Like dross, you purge all the wicked of the earth. Therefore I have loved your testimonies. My flesh shuddered from dread of you, and I feared your judgments. I practice justice and righteousness. Abandon me not to those who exploit me. Be your servant's guarantor for good. Let not willful sinners exploit me. My eyes pine for your salvation, and for your promise, righteousness. Treat your servant according to your kindness, and teach me your statutes. I am your servant. Grant me understanding, so that I may know your testimonies. For it is a time to act for Hashem. They have voided your Torah. Therefore, I have loved your commandments more than gold, even more than fine gold. Therefore, I have declared the fairness of every precept regarding everything. I have hated every path of falsehood. Your testimonies are wonders, therefore my soul has guarded them. The introduction of your words illuminates, making simpletons understand. I opened my mouth and swallowed deeply, because I crave for your commandments. Turn to me and favor me, as is your practice to those who love your name. Ready my steps in your word, and do not let any iniquity dominate me. Redeem me from human exploitation, and I will keep your precepts. Cause your countenance to shine upon your servant, and teach me your statutes. My eyes shed streams of water, because they did not keep your Torah. Righteous are you, Hashem, and each of your ordinances is fair. You commanded the righteousness of your testimonies, and great faithfulness. My zeal has consumed me, for my oppressors have forgotten your word. Your word is very pure, and your servant loves it. I am young and despised, yet I did not forget your precepts. Your righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and your Torah is truth. Distress and anguish have overtaken me. Your commandments are my preoccupation. Your testimonies are righteous forever. Grant me understanding, so that I may live. I called with all my heart. Answer me, O Hashem. I will guard your statutes. I called you, save me, and I will keep your testimonies. I arose before dawn, and I cried out. I hoped for your word. My eyes precede the night watches to discuss your word. Hear my voice in accordance with your kindness, O Hashem. Preserve me in accordance with your practice. The pursuers of sinful counsels drew near. They are far from your Torah, yet you are nearby, O Hashem, and all your commandments are true. From the start, I gained knowledge from your testimonies, because you established them forever. See my affliction and release me, for I have not forgotten your Torah. Champion my cause and redeem me, for your word's sake, preserve me. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they sought not your statutes. Your mercies, Hashem, are abundant. Preserve me, as is your practice. Many were my pursuers and my tormentors, but I did not swerve from your testimony. I saw traitors, and I quarreled with them, because they kept not your word. See that I have loved your precepts, O Hashem. Preserve me in accordance with your kindness. Your very first utterance is truth, and your ever righteous ordinances is for all time. Princes have pursued me without cause, but my heart has feared your word. I rejoice over your word like one who finds abundant spoils. I have hated falsehood and abhorred it. Your Torah I love. 7 times a day I have praised you for your righteous ordinances. There is abundant peace to the lovers of your Torah, and there is no stumbling block for them. I hope for your salvation, O Hashem, and I perform your commandments. My soul kept your testimonies, and I loved them very much. I have kept your precepts and your testimonies, because all my ways are before you. May my prayerful song approach your presence, Hashem, that you grant me understanding in accordance with your word. May my supplication come before you. Rescue me in accordance with your word. My lips will speak praise when you teach me your statutes. My tongue shall proclaim your word, because all your commandments are righteous. Let your hand be ready to assist me, for I have chosen your precepts. I crave your salvation, O Hashem, and your Torah is my preoccupation. Let my soul live, and it shall praise you, and your ordinances will assist me. I have strayed like a lost sheep. Seek out your servant, for I have not forgotten your commandments.